Hey folks, it's Best in Slot with some pretty bloody exciting late night news. Now before we fully dig into this, I just want to say it is worth noting that nothing is set in stone yet. This is a very preliminary stage, so it's you have to try not to get too excited, but it's pretty bloody exciting. Second thing I should say, all credit to the information and the images from today goes to JurassicOutpost.com. No idea where they got them from, but they're the most reliable, best news site out there for Jurassic Park stuff, so JurassicOutpost.com, go check them out for the original article that I stole this from, basically. So, what is this all about? Well, let's have a look. Apparently, a group of independent writers have come together and pitched a new I'll hide that for a sec. Have pitched a new TV series to executives, I assume, over at Universal Studios. They want to make a TV series. That TV series would be based on the life of John Hammond before and during the creation of Jurassic Park, right? So, big checklist of things we've always wanted. A TV series on Jurassic Park, you know, a real live action one, and a prequel on the creation of the park. Both very exciting. Let's check out the synopsis. What is this going to be? In the beginning, when Jurassic Park was first published over 30 years ago, no one could have predicted this science fiction adventure novel would spawn a multi-billion-dollar franchise with 6 feature films, a cartoon, comic books, video games, and enough merchandise to please any 10-year-old. However, while audiences have learned more about the central figures in the original film and enjoyed additions to the cast of characters in the preceding years, the audience has never really learned much more about the man behind the park, John Hammond. Hammond is designed to be a limited series, starting with the titular character working as a poor performer in early 1950s Petticoat Lane with his suitcase flea circus, and ending with him setting out to gather a group of scientists, 2 children, and 1 unwanted lawyer to give them an adventure they'd never forget. Bringing back dinosaurs from extinction was no easy task, and Hammond chronicles the blood, sweat, tears, and determination it took to do so. So Hammond, as an adult, trying to make his way in the world all the way up to seemingly just before the events of Jurassic Park, when Hammond decides to go, and, you know, we see him at the start of Jurassic Park, he goes to, I want to say Montana? I actually don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, he goes off to the dig site with Grant and Sattler there, and he persuades them to come and join him at Isla Nublar and at Jurassic Park. So, right up to those events, all the creation of Jurassic Park. Now, to go along with this, we have a ton of concept art. Not stuff that they would necessarily put into the show, but it's kind of things that they show to executives and to developers to kind of say, you know, this is the vibe, this is the kind of story we're trying to tell, basically. Tons of images. Let's have a look at them and try not to get too excited along the way. So, before Hammond makes Jurassic Park, it seems he's going to make a wildlife preserve of some description. He goes from the flea circus probably to the wildlife preserve, and then something happens, or he takes that concept and he decides to push the science further. So there's quite a lot about Hammond at the wildlife preserve. Interestingly enough, I think, if you look at the Hammond name here, you can see little hints of the actual Jurassic Park logo in it right there. So maybe you'll already see these slight ideas forming. The way that the fence bends like that is very Jurassic Park. The fence formation here, that shape where it cuts in and then divvies out like that, very Jurassic Park. So there's little hints of it appearing. Image here of a tiger and an elephant kind of squaring up to each other. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason in the story. I'm sure this would become as important. I actually do have a theory. Keep this image in mind as we move on a little bit further. A lot of these are just, as I say, thematic and just trying to set the mood and the tone. You know, this is young Hammond here in his little stupid hat in front of the wildlife preserve taking the world's first selfie. Actually, the first selfie was a very long time ago. And so this is an interesting little image. Hammond loving the baby elephant. I suspect Hammond gets very attached to this elephant. And maybe, this is just, I mean, I'm spitballing a theory here based on preliminary images for a TV show that has yet to be even confirmed in development, so take all this with a grain of salt. But, you know, it seems there's a highlight put here, not only to show maybe Hammond cares about the animals, but the elephant has popped up several times already. You know, it's here and here. The elephant is super important. Maybe something happens to the elephant. Maybe the elephant needs treatment, maybe eugenics gets involved, maybe this is Hammond's way to get into the science. I'm really not going to try to speculate too much. A few more images here, again, Hammond and the elephant. We also get Hammond and the flea circus, so this is how he started. And of course, that makes sense, right? So Hammond talks about the flea circus in Jurassic Park, and also, by the way, note the flea circus logo is basically the Jurassic Park logo, but with a flea. Hammond talks about the flea circus and the sort of the magic of performance and the magic that children experience, and that it doesn't have to be real because they believed it was real anyway. It's a beautiful scene, and it's a big part of Hammond and who he is in Jurassic Park, talking about how these kids were convinced they could see the fleas and they were so excited and happy about it, even though what's actually happening is he's got these like little automated machinations, basically. They go on their own, they're, electronically, mechanically driven, but the kids think they can see the fleas. So that, to a wildlife park, is a fairly logical step, because he goes from essentially lying to the kids, although in a very wholesome way, to actually showing them something they can appreciate and love. But there's wildlife parks all over the world. We need dinosaurs, and we have a few images here of what would be the building of Jurassic Park, and it's just so cool to see. Even if this never happens, it's very cool to see. God, I hope it happens. So here we have Hammond on the left. He's got his signature cane, he's got his hat and his white suit, and they're putting up the lettering, or unveiling the lettering by the looks of it actually, for the Jurassic Park sign. All the scaffolding's up, the cars are here for the first time and stuff like that. It looks like the Jurassic Park we know, but it's still in that, construction phase. You can imagine this would be maybe the final scene in the entire thing, actually, when they drop this screen past the Jurassic Park text, and that comes up onto the screen, Jurassic Park, and then it goes into the film. That would be very, very cool as well. God, I love this idea so much. I'm actually excited about something that's probably never going to happen. Well, let's not say probably never going to happen. We'll talk about that at the end. A few more images though, and again, stuff like this looks like construction of the Tyrannosaurus Rex paddock, or the workers' night. We didn't hear a lot about it in the film, but in the book it's definitely mentioned. People went missing on Jurassic Park, people died. There were a lot of worker casualties in the construction of the park, so we saw one at the very, very start of the film, but I'm sure there were a lot more. All you need is a few important characters, and suddenly you've got a fairly, cohesive story. So again, just watching them do this looks Muldoon-esque to me. Is it just me? I don't know. Muldoon would be overseeing construction of the paddocks. That actually makes quite a lot of sense. We could have a young Muldoon as well, which would be really cool. And we have another one, again, more construction. These little Lego men or whatever they are. I don't know what they are, but this is clearly real. And they've actually got little soldier dudes. But yeah, just the construction and seeing it all come together and how that happened and the trials and tribulations to get there would be awesome. And then of course finally we have an image of the Rex itself stomping around in the paddock. And again, that would be, first of all, it'd be really cool to see something about how this paddock is formed. Second of all, it'd be nice to see the Rex as a more natural, not wild obviously, but a more natural creature, not one that's trying to eat everyone. Because at every point in Jurassic Park, the Rex is trying to eat something. Basically the Gallimimus or the humans, and then the raptors, and it'd be nice to see the Rex being a Rex, and I'm sure we may even be able to see may even be able to see like baby Rexy being born for the first time, and then obviously she grows and eats everyone. So it's a really, really exciting concept. I think everyone knows that, right? It's a TV series, which is better because it gives characters a lot more room to breathe. If you've got even just a 10-episode TV series, even a 6 or a 5 or a 4, that's still at least double what you would get in a film, right? So characters get a lot more time to breathe and to become real, actual characters. And I don't know, I just feel like TV can spend a lot more time on pacing and development, and I've not always preferred TV as a medium over film, but I think if you're going to take a story, like a book, or any well-known story, or any story we would purport to know a little bit about, it suits TV better. And it being about the formation of the park is the one thing, like when I always hypothesize a Jurassic Park TV series, this is literally what it's about. It's about Hammond and the creation of Jurassic Park. So all of it coming together in a really exciting way. The final thing that's worth mentioning, I'll give you a slightly more exciting image. There you go. The final thing worth mentioning, whilst Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion, I should say, is the final of that trilogy, they've already said this is not the end of the franchise. Look, we've already got Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, we probably have more games on the way, we definitely have more games on the way. And, we've had Battle at Big Rock and stuff like that, you know, stuff outside of the film universe. This is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They are not just going to let it die after the next film. You know, it makes no sense. They are going to want it to print money as much as possible, right? We already have people talking last week about a Fast and Furious / Jurassic Park crossover. That's utter bloody nonsense. But that just shows the scale that Jurassic Park is operating on. And I am going to say Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World. I'm very sorry. The point is, they don't want it to die. And whilst the films, I think, may take a few more years, I don't know if there's anything in development in that stage. TV shows, expanded books, more games and stuff like that. The Jurassic World / Park machine is going to keep rolling and printing more money. And this would be a really good way to do it. I am hype. Like, even just knowing that somebody out there is trying to make this happen, like actual people are pushing for this to happen, is very, very cool. And, it would instantly go to my most hyped media piece ever, literally ever, if it was to get greenlit and actually happen. So that's it for tonight. Again, shout out to JurassicOutpost.com for the information. Shout out to me for speculating wildly. Shout out to whoever the hell is pitching this, because you're a terribly great person, or people, I should say. It's a group of writers. Yeah. Hope you guys are excited too. Talk about it down below. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Oh, and like the video. Be cool. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.